Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Michi the teacher. Today I'm going to do a video talking about how I prepared for my exams. So I'm going to talk about the PPR today because that was the first one I passed, and I passed that one on my first try. So that's a big accomplishment because I've heard that a lot of people have a hard time passing it. And I guess I'm going to just give you guys a little bit of advice and some pointers on how I passed it and what I did to prepare myself. So let's go ahead and get started. So number one thing is what I did to pass or to help me pass the PPR test was to look at a lot of videos. So I looked at some videos on YouTube of people who talked about it to get some advice. And I also used 240 tutoring. That's a website that I use to study for my EC6 and PPR, and I basically just tried to really understand the concepts of that, because when I went to take the test, like for me, I don't know, it was basically how they said it was gonna be. So it's like, how long is the test? I think it's like a 4-hour test. I'm not sure, I don't remember. And things that you should do to prepare for it is to obviously look over those different contents, what's expected, and things of that material. So one thing that I was told is to think of the perfect teacher, like the perfect teacher. Even though things that you want to do for your answer is not always going to be the best answer, so you want to pick like the best answer. Usually, like anything that says like, for example, if it's like a scenario-based question, usually anything that has a variety of content, like a variety of ways of how to teach your students, is usually a good answer. Or anything related to like life, like real life scenarios, like going to the grocery store, or anything that's like real life based, are usually your best answers. So those are usually the type of answers I'm looking for when you take the PPR. Another thing that I also realized with PPR is that you want to just think of the best teacher. I can't stress that enough, like the best teacher. When I took the exam, I also came across like ELLs, because I'm in Texas, so they had like a lot of ELL questions too, so how to help them. So make sure to brush up on ELLs, what ELLs are, which is English Language Learners, and you want to be sure to know exactly how you can help students that are struggling in English, who are mainly Spanish-speaking children. So that's something I came across too. I don't think people really mention that too much, but that's something I had on my test when I first took it. And of course, I don't know if you guys know this, maybe you do, maybe you don't. The test is, I think, like 90 to 100 questions, and there's only like a select amount of questions that is actually counted towards your test. Like some of those questions are basically like filler questions. So like if it's like, I don't know, 90 questions, they take away 10, which gives you like a better score. And I realized that the scenario-based questions are worth more. People think that when you take the test that you have to get a certain amount of questions correct, but that's not always the case. For example, when I took the science portion for my EC6, I got more questions right, but I still hadn't passed it at that time. So I realized that the scenario-based questions are worth more than the knowledge questions. That's another thing, I guess, for those who are taking the content. But back to PPR, usually you want to make sure you definitely have a really good understanding and idea of what they're looking for. You want to make sure you know your TEKS as well, like make sure you know like what's expected for what grade level. Make sure to really read your question and actually answer the question and what it's asking for. That's some of the things that I have come across when I did it, and I think that it would be beneficial for any future candidates that are currently in school. Because for my school, we had to pass our EC6 and our content exam before we can student teach, at least for me, for next semester. But for those who are graduating this fall, they're basically good to go. Because I know for me, I had to take like another test. I think I mentioned it in my last video, the STR. It's basically like part of it used to be part of the ELAR, and they took it away. But that's another test we're gonna have to take to certify in order to become certified in Texas. But anyways, I hope that some of this advice helped. If you guys have any questions or wonder what I did or what I used, just leave comments below. But as far as I know, this is what has helped me, and I felt very confident in this. I felt more confident with PPR than I did with the EC6. You want to make sure that you are all inclusive. So that means kids that have special disabilities or any kind of special needs or any kind of accommodations, need accommodations, you want to be able to have an all-inclusive environment for your students. So it's always something you want to do when it comes to picking your answers. Think of something that's going to be all-inclusive for everybody, and not just for selective students. You want to, include that as well. That's also another hint for the PPR when you're taking it. So look out for that when you take the test. So moving on to the EC6, I took that one. That one took me like 4 tries, because the first time I just didn't really study efficiently as I should have when I took it. The fine arts, we both have arts in there, I get mixed up. But I passed that on the first try. The second try, I passed ELAR and social studies. Third try was math. And then fourth try was science. And the thing is, the crazy part about it is that I love science, and the fact that it took me 4 tries to pass it was a little upsetting. It was seriously super upsetting because I love science, and then like social studies, I don't like social studies at all. It's like one of my least favorite subjects. I passed that on a second try, and normally people have the worst time passing social studies. So I don't know how I passed that so easily. I have no idea, but I mean, I had to study for that, obviously. I used 240 tutoring like I did with PPR, like I mentioned previously. So that's what I did for majority of my subtests. I also went on YouTube. I looked at Teachwritelearn. That's what I used for social studies. That's one of the channels. I'll link it down below, as well as Michael Hay. Michael Hay was good for science. For me personally, he was useful, but I feel like study.com was even better. So you can check out study.com. It's kind of expensive, but I only used it for like 1 month and then I canceled it because it's all I really needed. It was like my very last content I had left to pass. So that's what I use. So that's another suggestion as well if you need more in-depth content based off of science, the subtests. So that's what I use. There's also some changes that has happened with the testing now. For those who are trying to become teachers next year, if you're not gonna get certified this year by the end of December 31st, then basically next year, starting in the year of 2021, you're gonna be required to take the STR, which is another test that used to be part of the ELAR, but it has been taken out of it and made to an entire whole nother test. Which sucks, I know, but that's the requirements now for certification. So instead of it just being PPR and EC6, it's also STR as well. So I hear that, I know that the days that in between test taking, if you need to take it more than once, if you failed a section or whatever, or failed any other test in general, used to be 45 days, but it is now 30 days. You don't have to wait 45 days anymore, which I was happy because if it was 45 days, I probably wouldn't have made it for my deadline to student teach. So it is now 30 days now to register for your test. What else? Oh, another person that I also liked looking at for advice on test taking skills and tips, which was really, really useful because she helped me out a lot, was TeachQueenQ, I think is what it was. Yeah, TeachQueenQ. She's another channel I like to look at. She's also, I believe she's a teacher as well. But you can check out her channel as well. I'll link her against her channel below because she was very helpful for me, and she had a lot of useful advice on how to take tests, and like hers is a little bit more dated when it comes to some of the information, but for the most part, everything she's saying is true. Also, they're testing out of the 291, and I think it's gonna become the 391, which is still the same thing, still the same EC6, but the time is gonna be longer from what I hear. I'm not gonna be taking it because I already passed the 291. So for those who didn't attempt for 291 this year, you're gonna have to take the 391 instead now, which has more time for like for most of the sections. I think one of them stays the same. I'm not sure which one. I didn't look far into it because I don't know, but I'm sure that it's also on the 240 website. All the information you need to know about the new tests that you're going to be taking for the year of 2021. So some other things that I did to help study for the test is that I used some flashcards. I also studied throughout the night and day, periodically. So I would study night and day. I would have my flashcards. I would look at it, or I would go to each section depending on which subject it was for EC6, and I'll write down things I wasn't sure of, study that, and then I would try to like look at the flashcard, whatever word it was or term it was, try to see what I remember, take out the cards that I did know, and then go review the ones I wasn't sure of, and then I look back at it at night as well. So, and I did it for like every subject that I needed to basically brush up on, or that I was not the strongest in, to ensure that I knew information well enough so when I took the test, I was covered. If you guys have any questions about what I did to prepare to study or need more in-depth information, just leave a comment below and I'll try to answer your questions and help you out. Because I'm pretty sure that with the new test, all the information is still going to be the same. There's just going to be more time and less questions from what I took, which I think that the version I took in a sense was harder compared to the newer one because you get more time. Yes, I have like really bad anxiety when it comes to testing, so knowing that the new test gives you more time is actually more beneficial for test takers who have bad anxiety, and it makes it much easier for those who are trying to qualify. So, well, not qualify, but to get certified. So keep that in mind. Other than that, that's about it. Hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content. Thanks again. Bye.